NVIDIA will make AI chips and supercomputers in the U.S. Intel is selling off a majority stake in chipmaker Altera. And Meta will start using data from EU users to train its AI models. It's Tuesday, April 15th, and this is your Morning Tech News Roundup from Engadget. In a decision almost certainly informed by the recent tariff chaos, NVIDIA is going to start making some of its AI chips and supercomputers in the U.S. The company announced that it's building and testing its Blackwell chips in Arizona, and it plans to manufacture its AI supercomputers, presumably the recently announced DGX Spark and DGX Station, in Texas. NVIDIA says TSMC is already making Blackwell chips in Phoenix. In Texas, the company's supercomputers will be made by Foxconn in Houston and Wistron in Dallas. NVIDIA said that mass production at both plants is expected to ramp up in the next 12 to 15 months. It's not entirely clear which version of NVIDIA's Blackwell chips TSMC will actually be building, but the chipmaker plans to be equipped to handle a wide variety of manufacturing for U.S. tech companies, including Apple and Qualcomm. TSMC received $6.6 billion in funding from the CHIPS Act under the Biden administration and committed to spending an additional $100 billion to expand its U.S. operations in March. NVIDIA has benefited most directly from the current AI boom and stood to be harshly impacted by the latest round of tariffs announced by President Donald Trump. As of April 11th, some of those tariffs have been paused for computers and chips, saving companies like NVIDIA from some financial strife. But moving some manufacturing to the U.S. is a much more permanent way to avoid the ongoing trade war. Intel is selling off its majority stake in chipmaker Altera as part of its new CEO's first steps toward stabilizing the company. The 51% stake sold for $4.46 billion in a deal earlier this week that is expected to close in the second half of this year. Altera makes field programmable gate array chips, which are often used to power retro gaming hardware, such as the analog consoles. The company's other products have applications ranging from military to telecom sectors. Intel acquired Altera in 2015 for a hefty $16.7 billion, which means its current valuation has taken quite a dive since that purchase. However, the sale should still provide some cash flow to Intel at a critical juncture. New CEO Lip-Bu Tan was appointed Intel's CEO in March, following the departure of Pat Gelsinger as the company's top exec. He is expected to help change course for the company following a long string of poor decisions, and from the start of his appointment, it seemed likely that Intel would see some streamlining of its business. Meta announced yesterday that it plans to start using data collected from its users in the European Union to train its AI systems. Starting this week, the tech giant will begin notifying Europeans through email and its family of apps of the fact, with the message set to include an explanation of the kind of data it plans to use as part of the training. Additionally, the notification will link out to a form users can complete to opt out of the process. The company notes it will only use data it collects from public posts and Meta AI interactions for training purposes. It will not use private messages in its training sets, nor any interactions, public or otherwise, made by users under the age of 18. As for why the company wants to start using EU data now, it claims the information will allow it to fine-tune its future models to better serve Europeans. Meta said, "We believe we have a responsibility to build AI that's not just available to Europeans, but is actually built for them. That's why it's so important for our generative AI models to be trained on a variety of data so they can understand the incredible and diverse nuances and complexities that make up European communities. Thanks for listening. There's more to these stories and more tech news at Engadget.com. This episode featured journalism from Ian Carlos Campbell, Anna Washenko, and Igor Bonifasic, and was voiced and produced from the sound studios of Spoken Layer. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more tech news from Engadget.